me life.
What's going on, guys? Jurassic Acid here. Today we are doing Sea of Thieves Telltale number 5, Lords of the Sea.
Jack! You're a slightly ethereal sight for sore eyes. Still, I can't help noticing a particular trinket is somewhat conspicuous by its absence.
Aye, that's because Jones and his new friends still have it. Seems he used it in some sort of ritual before escaping back to the Dutchman. Extremely ungentlemanly behavior, of which I heartily disapprove.
With the treasure's power in his clutches, Davy Jones and the Dark Brethren can move freely between worlds. They plan to sail to the Sea of the Damned just as you did, to take it over and destroy the ferryman.
And if that happens, only pirates who swear an oath to Jones will be allowed back from the land of the dead.
But that means he'd control everything. It'll be the end of this place for sure.
And what are we supposed to do about all this? Jones has a whole fleet now, and we don't even have a ship.
Well, I, for one, intend to get my treasure back, even if I have to swim for it. Fortuitously, there's a speedier alternative available. You! I'm commandeering your vessel, and all who sail aboard her for essential pirate business. Besides, you've got as much of a score to settle with Jones as I.
Aye, it may be a lost cause, but if anyone can win a fight for pirates, it'll be Sea of Thieves pirates. Still, there's a mite bit of ocean to cover, and we've only one ship. Where would we start?
The doorway to the Sea of the Damned was opened from this world, and now it must be closed the same way. But to find it, we need something special. Something touched by the hand of David Jones.
But we ain't got nothing what belongs to Jones. Our safety holes in our pockets, eh?
Wrong. I have something. Thought I might use it to open up a cabinet.
I will always find you, David Jones.
Well, now that we have our heading, it's time we set sail. Meet me in your ship's cabin, wherein I shall be hard at work strategizing a strategy. And then forth we shall sally, savvy?
Aye, and we'll see if we can't muster up some help at the outpost. Good fortune, and a fair wind to us all.
Go. This is the last chance to stop Davy Jones. If we do not put an end to the Dark Brethren, the light of freedom will vanish from this world forever.
Let's not waste time, shall we? Listen, mate. I've been thinking about what Theodormus said. That the door Jones opened can only be closed from this side. If that's true, he'll not have left it unguarded. Now, I'm a man very much accustomed to thinking on his feet. But even I'm inclined to stock up on provisions before we sail to almost certain death. Plenty of planks, cannonballs, that sort of thing. Best not to head into battle empty-handed.
You don't actually need the supplies, there'll be plenty of supplies out there. That treasure, it can carry us between worlds. It cried to me, called me here, so far from home. But these are not my seas. I've been cast away to a place where our stories can live forever. Well, I find my strength again, the winds whisper. They teach me songs of sorrow. Speak to me of the fate witty Jack, warn me that the tide is turning. Twin sorrows join together, twisting and twining into hatred. Hatred for the freedom they've forgotten. The Sea of Thieves was born from an idea, the idea that pirates' life of being free forever. Once pirates made the idea real, they called out to others who longed for freedom. Now they must fight to keep the pirate life alive. Using the treasure's power, the Dark Brethren will claim the seas of the damned forever. They will be lords of the sea. It has already begun. Searching the skies for the vision of Davy Jones, under him cloud your destination, your fate. So basically you just want to look up in the sky, and you'll see a big gigantic cloud that looks like Davy Jones.
I should warn, Davy Jones tends to hold a grudge. When I first came, all that mattered was escaping Jones's wrath. It never occurred to me this might be a place worth running towards.
I'm going to try to keep all of Jack's dialogue inside this video too.
Different. They don't just fight for gold, power. They fight for freedom to choose. And that's the freedom no one can ever be allowed to take away. Oh, I see. Sentimental. Well, that's that. We have a war to win and a sea to sail. Far be it from me to doubt the wisdom of the sea goddess. Are we absolutely certain that this is the right cloud? Frankly, I don't think it looks much like Jack's.
I think it looks pretty much like him.
You're too late, Jack Sparrow!
Maybe just a little bit like him.
On reflection, I suppose there is passing resemblance.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Not to say the obvious, but it appears those watery witches have returned to lend Jones their power.
Now, unlike the other Tall Tales where you're going to mostly be fighting on the ground, this is mostly sea battles.
Forgotten sailor, forsaken by the ferryman, and marooned there in the sea of the damned. They've pledged their allegiance today, and I've promised them dominion over the world of the living. They will defend the spire until my work is done.
Yours was a persuasive speech. Ready the cannon!
So basically, while you're sailing around, if you didn't actually supply the boat like we didn't, it's a good idea to sail around and try to pick up some of those barrels. However, a lot of these ghost ships, I would say 80% drop supplies for you guys, so it's not like a huge one for it as long as you can take one from it. Now, Jack Sparrow is going to be on your boat fighting this entire time, and his shots are impressive. Like, he can do across-map cannon shots. So every now and then, you can sort of just watch him, like, even if it's like a ridiculous shot where you think he would miss, somehow it magically hits. So he's a really good ally. I will say it would probably be pretty hard to do this Tall Tale solo. However, this one's a little bit different. It's mostly all going to be ship battles, so if you are by yourself in this first half of the Tall Tale, in like a sloop or something, I don't think it would be too bad for Jack on there, because I mean, he is really accurate with cannons. If you were focusing on like sailing and repairing while he shot, eventually he does go on and do his own thing though, so he's not as able to help you as good.
Was that your best effort?
I got things sped up a little bit, but not too much, that way we can somewhat hear the dialogue still. This is all going to be like a very familiar fighting. Basically, you just need to sail around, take out a whole bunch of ghost ships. This is going to be phase 1. There is 2 different phases in this first half, and then there'll be a 3rd phase later on. But if you notice how there's little ghosts flying over the sunken ghost ship, those are full of supplies. They'll normally have tons of cannonballs, wood, everything like that. Each of these little ghost ships only require 3 cannonballs, so they're a lot easier to take out than like a skeleton ship. I don't know if you guys have ever done some of like the Order of the Souls ones where you have to go around the islands, but these are basically the exact same boats. Now eventually you do happen to come across a captain, which is going to take probably around 6 or so shots. They do have a little bit more health, but they're not too bad. Oh, and if they sail through you, you are going to take quite a bit of damage. Just as a tip for anyone who's not used to normally fighting these guys. Now during this Tall Tale, I am going to show you how to fully do all of the accommodations. However, I just want you guys to know you're going to have to do this Tall Tale at least twice if you want to 100% it. The reason why I say that is you have to kill a certain amount of ghost ships, which, I mean, technically if you sailed around, you could do that easily in just one. However, in Phase 2, there's going to be mermaids popping out of the ground. You'll see that in a few minutes. But basically, you're going to have to get 10 of them, and there just isn't 10 of them spawned. So the problem is you definitely are going to have to do that twice, regardless of how many ghost ships you get in this first time. So as long as you get about halfway through on your accommodations, I think you'll be golden. From what we found, I don't think sailing around would spawn the mermaids back up. You'll see what I'm talking about, but
Pirates were not so
it's a little weird the way they set everything up.
There's all that stands between you and the icy death. City over the sea, oh! You've no idea what true terrors lack beneath the waves.
I lost a water in my ears for something very bad, so I was thinking of you. So that will be getting back.
And here is where the mermaids are popping up that I was talking about. Get as many supply crates as possible, obviously. They... a little bit of overkill. You don't really need too many cannonballs on them, but it's nice to have supplies if you need it. We're still in fast forward because, I mean, this is like a gigantic area, so I'm trying to at least get back and forth through everything relatively quickly. You can, however, hop on a cannon if you want to kick Jack Sparrow off, or you could just let him do his own thing. He seems to be really good at doing his own thing, so I normally just go to the other side of our brig and just shoot from that side and just let him do his thing. And a lot of their dialogue is just on repeat, so that's why it's another good thing to have it on fast forward. Yeah, look at some of those shots. I mean, that's really far ways away, and he's just over there. Just sinks them. Very impressive. He doesn't shoot that frequently, but obviously since it's fast forward, it seems like he's like really laying into him. He does take a couple seconds before he shoots. Maybe about half, probably double the time it takes you to load a cannon. It's not like relatively quickly, but it's still pretty quick. Then basically all you gotta do is sail into it, shoot a couple times, boom, it breaks. He thinks the statues are invincible. He was wrong. Now, I will say about once the third mermaid gets taken out, for some reason, we had a little bit of issues, but everything comes back to normal. So I might have missed a little bit of dialogue in between there. And you basically just have to sail into the mermaids. You're fine sailing into the red rings. It's not like you take any extra damage at all. Everything's relatively nice and friendly in this tall tale. Aside from the stuff shooting you, I'd say, well, yeah, I'd probably call this Phase 2. Phase 3 gets a little weird because it's sort of like while you're doing other stuff. Yeah, we'll call this Phase 2. And Davy Jones, of course, he thinks he's the best pirate around, so he's obviously going to sit there and act like he's going to be the #1 victor out of all this. Now, the one thing I will say it's kind of weird is in the end of the tall tale, there's no, like, real sirens or crab people, or none of those people actually hop on your boat, so all you have to do is worry about the boats. So this one, it seems a little bit more relaxed than the other tall tales, and I'd say it's roughly going to take about an hour. Maybe an hour and 20 minutes if you're searching around and reading everything. And this guide is going to show you where all 5 of the books are in the main crystal area, and it's going to... we'll read those, but the other set of 5 that is found on the Black Pearl, we're just going to click through them because I didn't realize that you could sit on the Black Pearl for an infinite amount of time, so we ended up doing it during some of the dialogue, but they're mostly just staying in one place. It's not like we missed too much. And as soon as you get that accommodation, basically, you know, you're in a good spot in the tall tale. And this is about the difficulty they stick with the entire time. There's one of those dudes, but I mean, it's not like the regular mermaids or anything, which I find is kind of weird. And it's only just a couple of those guys. It's not like they're constantly coming at you. I don't know, maybe if the longer you take in this tall tale, the slower you would be or something? That could be a chance, but that's full guessing on that point. And obviously make sure you're paying attention to your environment. You don't want to sail into things. Good thing is, since everything is considered a ghost ship, any of your allies can just go directly through you and they won't actually damage you. Alright, so let's kill a couple more of these guys. Oh, and thank you for anyone who's actually stuck with us and watched all the tall tales. I greatly appreciate it. It sounded like there's going to be future DLCs with the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise in mind. Now, what would be really crazy? I'm not saying they should do it, but I think it would be hilarious if they actually do it. Since now they technically have Calypso, you know, the person who can control the seas. It would be hilarious if they got her to do like one of those tornadoes from like Sharknado and sat there not only mixed in Pirates of the Caribbean but Sharknado and Sea of Thieves. And just had like flying sharks whenever they pop out of tornadoes that try to eat you. I think that'd be hilarious. Now if it was a little bit too overpowered, I'd probably get mad at it, but I still think it would be hilarious to see. But I'm definitely not saying that they should, but it would be funny. Alright, so now there's only one more mermaid. They're relatively easy to kill, so nothing too big here.
Calypso!
This is a new world, Davy Jones. You are bound to no aught upon these waters. The Flying Dutchman need not chain you here. I knew you as a pirate. A man who was not afraid of his own heart. Out here, that man will again. Come back to me.
No. The point of no return is long since past that. We are at war.
Wars do not end with weapons. They end with words. I call for parley, Davy Jones.
Parley?
According to the code set down by Morgan and Bartholomew,
Do you not see, my sweet Calypso? You cannot invoke the right to parley, because, my dear, you are not a pirate. You are a monster, as am I.
Then the man I love is truly dead.
And no one shall be left to mourn his passing. Do you see where your courage has led you, Jack Sparrow? You and your friends shall die here alone.
two issues, mate. One, I happen to already be dead.
And two, Captain Jack Sparrow and his friends are not alone. The captains of the damned have heard your call, Calypso, and are prepared to heed it. We shall sail together!
And we shall never bow to tyrants, no matter how powerful they may be.
Especially not when they stink like a dead squid. We're coming for you, Jones.
Form up behind the Black Pearl. It's time we show this dark brethren what it really means to be a pirate.
Just a moment. As leader of the Scotland Alliance, facing an enemy of honor and power, I feel it incumbent upon me to deliver some sort of inspiring speech. Let's go and sing it all!
Alright, so in this part of the Tall Tale, basically all of Pendragon, Jack Sparrow, they're all going to do their own thing, so you don't actually have to help them fight at all. You can a little bit. You're basically trying to get to that crystal island in the middle, and that's going to be like your main thing that you're supposed to be focusing on. However, if you want to clear a couple of them out to make it easier for you later on, go ahead, feel free to. It's not like it's going to stop you, and it'll probably get you closer to that ghost reward ships taking out accommodation. So there is a dock that you can dock at to get to the main island, or you can shoot yourself across in the canyon. We went ahead and shot a couple extra ships just in case. Wasn't really sure if it was going to do anything extra or not. But basically the ghost just starts saying, hey, we got cleared. You might want to do what you're supposed to be doing. And at that point you're like, oh, okay, fine. We won't shoot. We'll just go do that then.
You will have all eternity to regret this day.
So this tall tale, it's kind of interesting. It's not like the others. This is only going to be mostly ship combat. I know where the other ones where there was a whole bunch of puzzles and stuff. This is the most like straightforward, easy one to go through. But we did get everything done in this. Let me know if you guys would want some videos on how to get some of the trickier accommodations from like the previous Tall Tales. I'm definitely going to be going through and doing like all the books and everything back again. So let me know if you guys would want to see something like that. I do a couple short videos on like, you know, just like 3-minute videos on this is how you get like one of the super secret ones, like the first Tall Tale, how to find the dude's chest, and you get this drink recipe, and then the whole ordeal just to get one combination. But it's pretty cool. So we might do something like that.
Thy judgment is final.
Distracted. Now you have the chance to enter the spire and find what is giving David Jones his power.
So here's the place I was talking about. I'm pretty sure you probably could have gone in there without that, because I mean, none of the ghost ships were attacking us the entire time anyways. But this is basically where they just start repeating, do you mind going in there? So, you can either dock the boat close, or you can just keep sailing around. Your ship's not going to take any damage while you're on the inside, so it's okay to just leave it on the outside.
Let's fly, mate.
Aye, aye. Alright, so basically once we get to this little crystal spire looking thing, all you gotta do is get up to the top. I'm going to walk you through how to get every single book. I am going to cut out some like the pretty obvious places, because I mean, like for example here, it's just only one pass, so it's pretty simple to figure out which way to go. If there's any books that are in a little bit of a hidden spot, I'll be sure to include like any extra information on how to get there as best I can.
Thy phantoms are sworn to protect us, wife.
You are becoming one. Memories from the sea of the damned are being given life in this world. Hurry and reveal the source of this power to me.
And basically her and David Jones are going to be going back and forth the whole time. So, book number 1 is going to be right next to this little ghost lady over here in the corner. Our hearts desire that which terrifies us the most, our greatest triumphs and our worst mistakes. All of them can and return to haunt us here. They have say their tavern is where they honor the dead. They may drink freely, coming and going as they please, a single point of light in the unending darkness. The rest of us linger in our own lives, or what remains of them, doomed to repeat until we repent, until the Freeman calls our last. And if we remain consumed by our own legends, we begin to dwindle to forget the possibility of escape, of change, of hope. We become naught but characters, players in stories of our own creation, and when there is nothing left for us but the story, we are truly lost. Book number 2 is going to be found at the very top of that little ramp that we were right next to. Well, this is a sticky pickle, and no mistake, must have hit my head really hard falling overboard, because I got no clue how I washed up here. suppose there's no use crying about it. I've gathered up all the wood I can and set a fire to smoking. That's bound to catch an eye or two. It's a bit eerie, this place. Almost reminds me of the reef I stranded rotten Ronald on so I could keep all the hull for my own 2 pockets. In fact, I could have sworn I had already wrote all this down yesterday, or was it the day before, or the day before that? Can't rightly recall. Ship ahoy! Rescue at last, where there's someone's properly scary at the helm. Can't help but wonder what that's underneath that mask. So that'd be book number 2. Book number 3 is going to be found in this like little wooden cage further on up the path. You don't want to jump down just yet. There's going to be one in this little plant, hidden away pretty good. The worst part about being locked up in the old prison, apart from the smell, was thinking I'd only ever dreamed that I'd escape. Then the beardy bloke arrived. I say he fired a cannon shot through the wall of me cell. He did. Talk about making an entrance. Well, an exit. As we sailed away, he told me that it was the prison that was the dream. I really had escaped back in the day. Is one of the many 4 things he said. I don't much care for being locked up, especially not when I've already broken out once, so I was more than happy to throw my lot in with him. If this Dark Brethren can keep me out of any more metaphors, I'm more than happy to raise a sword in their name. I reckon others will feel the same way. Alright, so once you get that book, the next 2 books are going to be relatively close to each other, so you can just slowly slide down that little wooden boat area, and it's going to be right next to this ghost. All my life I was told to enter the David Jones was to plunge into a nightmare. Today, his Dark Brethren has saved me from the same fate. Better yet, they have promised me passage out of the Sea of the Damned, where I have unwittingly trapped for countless lifetimes. My old crew are at my side, looking as I just remember them. Perhaps they're nothing more than my own hazy memories, and fight well enough. Jones has promised me an end to our eternal imprisonment. No longer shall one of those broke the code be forced to suffer from our sins. I shall take up arms against the pirates who abandoned me here. I shall fight for my freedom and shall serve the Dark Brethren, the Lords of the Sea. Alright, so this next book's going to be a little bit complicated. That one's over near that pink coral. Next one's going to be found in this little wooden boat here, so you just want to go up the side ramp here. There's going to be another ramp. Jump up. And then basically the book will be on the very top of the ship next to the next ghost lady. Company Man by Lord C. Beckett. It's most disconcerting to be unsure of one's own precise position in the world. I would have sworn that my men and I were aboard my vessel. But as I am a company man, I shall continue to serve the interest of the company. I can see that Jones and the pirates are locked in opposition just as before. This must, therefore, be the battle for which I have been preparing. There is no logical explanation, thus I shall continue to follow my plan. The chest of Davy Jones shall be guarded with my soldiers' lives if necessary. The Flying Dutchman will certainly destroy that ragtag pirate alliance soon enough. Then once Sparrow is dead and Jones is of no more use, like the string of the heart, profitable rations are best served. It's just good business.
We'll be fine, mate. Just get inside that fire.
So basically now you just continue on going through. Rest of this is relatively simple, but we're just going to keep this path on there. So now we have the 5 books here. There's going to be 5 more books in the Pearl. But as I was saying while the dialogue was going, we sort of thumbed through those. So those you might have to either pause or look at them a little bit slower than how I flipped through. Because I didn't actually read those out loud.
They make their final step.
So basically, you might think that Beckett's about to call in some ghosts here and like actually talk to you. No, he calls in a bunch of dudes to try to kill you. I don't know why I was expecting, you know, just like some civil conversation, but yeah, he definitely tries to kill you. I don't recognize any of these ghosts though, so I think these are all still like the generic ghosts that they've been using. I still say though, I'm most impressed with the one in the town. I don't know, they did a really good job on that one. This one, it's a little bit more simple because it's just a ship battle, but it's still pretty good. Oh yeah, and we can do the, what was it, Eternal Sorrows chest from Tattletale number 3. We figured out how to do that one, so we'll probably make a video on how to fully open that one and find the secret passage through that too. Just a little idea for later on. Alright, so basically you just want to sit here, keep on attacking them. Eventually you're going to get to the end of the ghost, they will drop a key, and basically just open up the chest and you just continue about your day. Watch out for lightning. I don't know if anyone else has an opportunity to get electrocuted every 2 seconds, but I'm one of those. And, well, even though this game intends for lightning to be found in here, you can still die by it, apparently. So basically, the ghosts have their own little sword lunges attacks, which is a little bit annoying. You can somewhat stab their ghost smoke area for a couple seconds after they teleport away, and you'll still be doing damage to them, but not too long. And this guy, even though he doesn't have a proper name and it's not really labeled anything at all, what he is, he's the one who drops the key.
I can sense it.
And Beckett's the only ghost that's sort of like in full color, sort of like Jack Sparrow. So I'm wondering if there's more to it.
At last, Davy Jones, I know where your heart truly lies.
Watch out, she gets a little bit of vengeance on that.
It's just good business.
Run to your ship before the spire collapses back where it belongs.
Now, hopefully you guys park relatively close to where the dock is. However, you do have a pretty good jumping spot from here. Our boat was a little bit off to the right area, which, I mean, we were still able to sword lunge and get to it. I think we were more on the back side of the island, but it's not that bad of a jump. And this is where the third phase of the boss fight commences. Basically, now you're going to be fighting alongside Pendragon, Pendragon, Sparrow, and all the other guys against the Dutchman. Which I think is pretty cool. You never actually get to sword fight Davy Jones though, so I don't know, just the way it ended, I feel like there's going to be more of this.
The Dutchman is still the strongest ship at sea. She still hasn't topped that.
So for some reason, after you get that part of the tall tale done, Dave Jones's cloud is upside down.
That was me, Joe!
Once you are sunk, the Black Pearl will be next.
And at this point, the Flying Dutchman's ship, Queen's and Revenge, is now. Is he in the Queen's and Revenge? No. That was Blackbeard. What was his boat called? I can't remember.
No Kraken to clear these ways.
That's gonna bug me now. I gotta look it up.
Well done! Now let's do the gate! Oh, I hope that hit the pipe.
I guess the boat name's just the Flying Dutchman ship. I was expecting, you know, like a little bit more detail, but yeah. Basically, his boat's going to be out in the open, and you and Pendragon and Sparrow are just going to have to use as many of the cannonballs that you found earlier and try to sink him.
Yeah, to face my true fury.
Unlike the movie, however, Calypso doesn't necessarily help. You guys know what I'm talking about. There was like a whirlpool in the movie where Calypso sort of, you know, helped the pirates take on Davy Jones in their universe. I mean, she zapped the heart medallion thing, but I mean, that's pretty much all she does. It's kind of weird. So I wonder if there's more to her story too. Same with Barbossa. Obviously, they added Barbossa's ghost in there, so they had plans for him, but we never actually get to see him. So there's more pieces to this tall tale that I think are going to be answered later on. I just have a feeling. Could be wrong. Might go nowhere. I just feel like they had to plan for more.
Make ready to drop anchor.
And considering the fact that so many people are trying to play this new DLC. I definitely think there's going to be more Pirates of the Caribbean DLC in the future. However, if you guys are curious, you cannot jump on Jack's ship at this current time. Not that I was going to try to abandon our own crew for, you know, the Black Pearl or anything, but I did attempt. It don't work yet. If you do jump off the boat, hopefully you're able to grab the ladder in time to get back up. Now, with so many of our allies sort of just hanging out, it's kind of hard to keep track of the Dutchman and stay close enough to hit him all the time. So you'll find this part of the boss fight is going to take a little bit longer, and Penjagon and Sparrow are basically going to do the majority of the work while you try to sail around and catch up to everybody. So it's a good idea just to keep on getting supplies and everything. You can sell these storage crates at the end of the Tall Tale back to anybody at the outpost that you want. So, I mean, as you can see, there's ghosts like literally all around this entire island. I think you can make a ton of money. We pretty much just slapped on a Reaper's Emissary flag at the end of this Tall Tale, went to Reaper's Hideout and just sold it all there. Worked out really good. Basically, Reaper's Hideout will take anything you want. That's the only thing that I had left to do, so that's what we ended up doing. Just as an idea. If you guys wanted to. So if you notice, Davy Jones did like his whole little Kraken thing there. It never actually pops up, so I don't know if they were intending for something to happen there or not. It does sort of push everyone's boats backwards slightly. But nothing really happens of it. Last time he did it, I mean, he did give the Kraken to the Mermaid Queen allegedly in one of the other Tall Tales, but I don't know. I figured he would have had a replacement. So that's another thing that's kind of weird. That never really gets answered. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of these Tall Tales are sort of more mystery than explanation.
It is time to bring the spot.
Basically, the Dutchman's going to be running away from you. He's going to do that. It's a little move, and that's going to push you back. He, however, does not have a Kraken at this point. The Kraken does not pop up to kill you. So, I mean, the one good thing is since you killed it in one of the previous Tall Tales, or hurt it at least, I don't think it actually died, because it's not like it fell on top of us. He just never shows up. Which, I mean, I think that tremendously helps. Now, if they had actually thrown, like, their Kraken and the Pirates of the Caribbean Kraken in here in the middle of this boss fight, that would have been crazy. That would have been way harder, too, but that would have been crazy. So basically, the majority of this point, you're just going to be spending trying to catch up to all the other boats.
Joyful voice be heard. Destroy them!
Problem is, if you have all your sails down, you'll be going too fast and fly way past them. If you have one sail down, well, you're a little bit behind them the whole time. Technically, though, at this point in the Tall Tale, you can pretty much just hang out in one spot and everybody else is going to handle it for you. So, I mean, that is a really cool part of this Tall Tale. This is the first time they actually had, like, proper allies doing a lot of the work.
Here there! Let's not get involved!
If you're curious, though, you never actually get to see Jack Sparrow on his ship in the middle of the fight. I don't know if he's the one shooting cannons or not. Don't forget these little rocks here. You can harpoon yourself to them to get a sharper angle to try to catch up and a little bit easier momentum. That's what we did to try to sneak ahead. It works sometimes, sometimes it doesn't. And then eventually, the seas are just going to all calm down and he's going to die. Somewhat die. I don't think the Dutchman can ever truly die. Sort of like Jack Sparrow, he's always going to come back around. But like I said, we never actually get to see him at all in any of this Tall Tale besides a ghost. So I'm not sure what other kind of powers he possesses.
What sorcery gives you son of fire?
And this is basically where he's acting like he's going to win regardless of what happens.
You still not recognize the true nature of the power they choose. If they know eternal value, it's not a a siren song or a precious treasure. It's love for freedom. A love nobody can hide.
The Dutchman has
It
died.
will not end like that. I will not be beaten. Not by a treacherous sea hag. Not by a wretched sentimental pack of pirates. But never, ever by Jack Sparrow!
And then just like that, everything disappears. Now, since you did take out the Flying Dutchman, however, there's one good thing that comes of it. One very familiar ship will be able to re-emerge from the seas. Which is really curious to see what the time frame is on this, because last time we saw the Pearl wasn't sunk. In the movies, at least. So maybe this is just like their own spin-off. I don't know, I'm curious about that. I'd say for sure there's definitely going to be more Pirates of the Caribbean DLCs, though. And it's probably like a hint that there is going to be another Pirates of the Caribbean movie coming out soon, since they did do all this. Pearl. She rises from the dead. Now this next part, you basically go over to the Pearl. I grabbed the books while they were talking, so you are going to have to just read those on your screen since I don't want to talk over them. However, basically we are done with the Tall Tale at this point.
Gibbs, I see you've salvaged the Pearl. Excellent work.
Aye, well, it was mostly the doing of the merfolk, truth be told. They're quite marvelous creatures here.
Oh, well then, I'll take my compliment back. Prepare to make sail, you lazy wretches.
If you don't mind me asking, what happened to Jones? And what about the treasure he was after? And why is the captain still there?
Young man, I believe your questions are about to be quite conclusively answered.
Fear not the wrath of Davy Jones. He's my prisoner now, bound to the very vessel he sought to destroy. Fate. With the Dark Brethren scattered and their ambitions at an end, I believe it is now safe to return this treasure to the hands of one who died defending it. I have weighed the worth of 1,000,000 souls, and yet I misjudged you, Jack Sparrow, and acted rashly. Such was my desire to prevent calamity. You captains of the damned have shown great courage and deserve a second chance. The pirate's life.
That's better. And all the best bits seem to be in the right places. Well, I've just got my ship moving, and we've got very much to do. I'd say that started as a public aberration, free refreshments, and some grand adventures out and about on this freshly saved Sea of Thieves. Where do we start?
Remember, Jack, you made her a promise.
I'm afraid Theodore was correct. I have some unfinished business that must, unfortunately, take precedent over any revelry in the immediate futurity.
Be that as it may, Jack, we're still a bit short-handed.
Excellent point. Our next destination lies beyond the horizon. Any pirates, formerly deceased or otherwise, who wish to throw themselves headlong into grand fun, battling unknown perils, are welcome to join the crew of the Black Pearl.
That's a tempting offer, Captain, but my place is here. Protecting the Sea of Thieves from the likes of Davy Jones. I will take my leave of you.
My crew and I, likewise, have promises that remain unfulfilled. Now that we're back on the seas, it's time to make amends. Safe journey, Captain. Whatever your destination may be.
Well, I'm not missing out on fighting unknown dangers in distant lands. Sign me up.
Me too. As if I'd let you sail off without me.
I suppose you and I should part ways for now. After all, someone needs to stay and keep this place lively for me till I return, eh? Trust me, I will return, mate. Well, my name isn't... Well, you know the rest.
Look lively, you lot! We've got a horizon to cross! Get that anchor raised! Hands to braces! And someone, please, strike up a tune. Prepare to anchor, Mr. Scrum, as soon as the last of our guests has departed. Time to get back to your own ship now, Sally.
We're rascals, scoundrels, villains and knaves. Drink up, me hearties, yo ho.
We're devils and black sheep, really bad eggs. Drink up, me hearties, yo ho. Yo ho, yo ho, a pirate's life for me.
And Jack Sparrow's boat's going to turn golden, sail off into the horizon once you finally head back to your ship after the dialogue. And that is going to be it for today, guys. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.